Hey everybody, so Johnny Walker, Realtor down here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm getting a lot of questions lately about the whole home buying process and all of these what we call disruptors in the market, and that's your offer pads, Homey, Open Doors, Zillow. All of them have justified means. I mean, I'm not telling you that they're bad. I'm not telling you that they're good. I do have really positive things to say about Zillow. A lot of you folks, it's kind of like, hey, give me a Kleenex. It's actually a tissue, or Jello is actually a brand of Jello. Zillow's kind of where everybody goes. If they're looking for houses online, Zillow owns that market. So I would tell you that Zillow is a very valuable tool. It has its pluses and minuses. For instance, I can tell you that there's a couple properties that I sold recently that are still active on Zillow. So the data is a little bit skewed, so it's not always perfect. But I have all my clients, this is a team process when we're working together trying to find them a property. And I tell them that, hey, Zillow is a good tool to use. So I got nothing bad to say about that. So let's talk a little bit about when you do and when you don't need a realtor, because ultimately these different products, OfferPad, Homey, Open Door, and Zillow, while they're all good, at a certain point, I believe you need somebody advocating for you. It's like if you go into a new home development and the first question out of their mind is, hey, do you have a realtor? Well, they want to know that, because if you don't, they're going to do everything their way and not your way. And trust me when I tell you that they want to work with you without a realtor, because then there's nobody advocating for you. You're going to end up doing everything the way they want you to. Okay, so let's talk about when you do and when you don't, for real, need a realtor in the process. Do I think you need a realtor? Absolutely. When? That's the question. So let's talk about the home buying process. Your first question is, what's your position from a cash standpoint, family standpoint? What's going to be the right thing for you? Do you need a realtor at this point? I say maybe, because me as a realtor, I can tell you that I have a couple lenders that I would turn you to say, hey, let's talk to a lender, get pre-qualified so we know how much you can look for. So we don't want to be out looking at $1 million houses when you can afford a $300,000 house. And we don't want to go out and fall in love with a property that's $450 when you can only afford $350. So do you need a lender yet? Not yet. You don't need one, but they can help you. Okay? What? Now you got to decide, well, what is it you need? And that's going to be based on your family, kids. Do you need a condo? Is a house? Do you need a yard? Do you need a pool? Do you need to be close to the freeway? There's lots of questions to ask there. You don't really need a realtor at that point. That's all questions that you're going to have to ask yourself. When a realtor does get involved, a good realtor is obviously going to ask you all those questions so that they can help you find the right thing. So where? Now we're talking. Now this is when a realtor can be extremely helpful to you and save you tons and tons of time. This is also a good spot to get Zillow on your computer and start searching. People buy everything online right now. You know, they buy shoes, they buy clothes, they buy food, they buy everything. You can buy everything online. So yeah, can you buy a house online? Yeah, to a certain point. But at a certain point, you're going to want somebody advocating for you. This is where I believe you definitely need to inject the services of a realtor. And not just any realtor. There's a lot of realtors out there. Check to make sure that your realtor is knowledgeable of the contract. Make sure that they know how many sections are in the contract and what they all mean. Knowledge is power when it comes to this. Remember, Arizona is a non-judicial state, whereas Illinois and other states are judicial, meaning that they use an attorney. In Arizona, your realtor and your title company act as your attorney, so it's probably a pretty good idea to get one that knows what they're talking about and is knowledgeable of the process and what the contract says and how all of that works, because they're there to protect you. Remember, I'm talking about someone that's advocating for you and working for you, because a realtor actually takes on a fiduciary duty to you. You're the boss, okay? All right, so where? Close to work. If you have kids, are schools going to be important? I would say yes, absolutely. If you're single and there are no kids, is the nightlife, that your lifestyle going to be more important? Yeah, all that stuff's going to come into account here. So this is when a realtor is absolutely going to be able to help you. Look, visit, and find. Okay, no doubt. You got to have a realtor now. If you start identifying properties, we've already gotten you a pre-qualification from a loan officer. We've already decided that we're looking for a single-family home with a pool, 3 bedrooms, 2-story, 3-car garage, whatever it is that you might be looking for. We know where you kind of want to be. You want to be in this certain section of town. Now it's time to go out and look at some properties. And a good realtor, when he takes you out to look at properties, is going to identify everything, both good and bad, for you. So if you're out looking at properties with a realtor and he keeps saying, oh yeah, oh yes, oh yeah, this is great, oh it's got that, oh it's, find a realtor that's going to question you on stuff and say, hey, is it important? This is an east-west facing house. Are you going to spend time in the afternoon out in the backyard because that sun's going to be directly on you? It's going to be hot down here. Or, this is awful close to a street. Is that street noise going to interrupt you if you're out watching a hockey game at night or something on the back porch? All these things a good realtor is going to point out to you, whether it's good or bad. It's important that you find a realtor that's going to be honest with you and tell you everything that you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. Okay. Then we come into the make offer. Obviously, I'm shortening this process to give you just an idea of what we're at. Once you make an offer, obviously, a realtor is going to be super important to you. They're going to make sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. They're going to make sure that you're protected in every stage of this process because there's going to be an inspection period. You've got 10 days to get an inspector out there. And then you've got a reply saying that, hey, these items we believe need to be fixed before we go through on this property. And at this point, you can still back away from the property without losing your earnest money. This is where a realtor earns his money. This is where the realtor is going to protect you to make sure that going forward, everything's working out in your best interest. Okay? Then once you're under contract, there's a lot of work to do. Myself, I have a transaction coordinator who's outstanding at pushing papers around, making sure everything gets signed, making sure that we're on time because there's a lot of timestamp items in the home buying process that have to be done at a certain date, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get through inspection, repairs, the appraisal, and then finally the best day of all, that's when we close. So that's a really quick synopsis of kind of the home buying process and why I believe a realtor is important. I'd love to talk to you more about it. I'd absolutely love to let you know how much I know about the process and what I can provide you as a professional realtor. And maybe throw in a joke or two and we'll drive around. We'll have some fun. So, because it should be a fun process. It isn't always, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes it's difficult. But in the end, everybody should be happy. That's my job. I'll talk to you soon.